Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Welcome on in. Happy Friday to you. Wicked Boston show here on the Rogue Media Sports Network with your host, Cam Stuart, Zach Burke, behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. We are just days, nay, hours away from Patriots Texans Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will be taking a look at our 3 keys to the game for a Patriots victory in this one. We will also talk about maybe the lofty comparison that the great Joe Buck had for Drake Maye. Joe Buck's doing the game this week for the Patriots, and he compares Drake Maye to a guy who's already in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So, I don't know, that sounds pretty good for Patriots fans. And, where we'll start as well, is Zdeno Chara got his number retired last night. That should have been the big part of the story, but what became an even bigger part of the story is how the Bruins' own GM got treated at this very special night at TD Garden. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. But we are going to start with this night last night at TD Garden. Big time event, like freaking hour and a half ceremony. I was there. I got my bobblehead. My exclusive, you had to be at the game to get this bobblehead. I got 2 of them. How about that? It's pretty cool. It kind of looks more like Keith Yandel in the face than Zdeno Chara. But hey, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So we were there last night, emotional. We had perfect seats looking right at where the number was going. We get in there at 6. The game doesn't start till 8. Great ceremony, though. Like, you know, all the legends are there. You know, Johnny Busick is out there with a walker getting onto the red carpet and onto the ice. You know, Ray Bourque is there. Bobby Orr is there. The place is going nuts. And then, you know, Chara has his 2011 teammates and he lists them off one by one. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm almost getting emotional because I'm like, man, 2011, that's my team, man. These guys mean something to me, you know, for my generation. It was an awesome, awesome, awesome night. I can't use that word enough. Awesome in that it was cool and awesome that I was full of awe watching this. And it does give me some thoughts about Zdeno Chara that I want to talk about in a minute. But before we get there, the one who stole the show was not Zdeno Chara at all. But in true Boston fashion, it was the fans that stole the show. Because in part of Chara's speech, before he lists off the 2011 guys, he's got to, you know, do some niceties at the beginning. He's got to thank, you know, the people that make this possible, literally this night possible. So he says, you know, I'd like to thank the Boston Bruins. I'd like to thank the Jacobs family. And you start hearing it a little bit as he says the Jacobs family, you know, a little boo. And then he goes, I'd like to thank Cam Neely. Boo. It starts to get louder. And Don Sweeney. Boo. I'm telling you, the place gets moderately loud booing the Bruins sitting GM during a guy's number retirement ceremony. And you could tell, like, Chara was going to, like, had probably written down, you know, thanks to Cam Neely, wait for applause. Thanks to Don Sweeney, wait for applause, and didn't get it. And so he just starts, yeah, thank you to the Jacobs family. He starts to hear that. Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, and everyone else. It just kind of moves on to the next thing. But there was kind of an uproar on social media. You know, people saying this is not the time and place, grow up, like this is disrespectful. And let me just say this, because I did partake in the booing of Don Sweeney a little bit. Is it fair that it's happening to Don Sweeney right now? Because I think he's actually having a good year. Maybe not. But, you know, when I saw these posts, I just wondered how many of these people are Bruins fans or NHL fans, but aren't from here that made these posts. Because I think in Boston, in Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, in New York, in Chicago, they'll tell you, no one tells us how to be a fan. And hand up, Don Sweeney's having a good year. You know, Marat Husnadinov scores 50 seconds into this game. That was a good Don Sweeney move, even though Brazeau's having a good year too. You know, I think Don is doing a good job in 25-26 with last year's trade deadline up till now. But the fans need to be heard in some way. And we're not stupid. That's the thing. We're not stupid. And, you know, we've seen the last couple of years, the last decade, how Don Sweeney has mismanaged assets, his poor draft record, how the seats keep getting more and more expensive to get into these games. And now they're going to start retiring numbers because even if the team stinks, you'll come to the game and you'll spend. I bought these tickets as soon as they went on sale. Upper deck, balcony, $85 each for the balcony. And then you'll go and you'll get your beers and your Sun Cruisers, and those are, you know, $20 to $25 a pop for the big cans. which is almost exclusively what they sell. You can go into the gift shop. I went into the pro shop last night, seeing if I can get a little souvenir, a little something to say that I was there for Chara's ceremony. Get a little puck with the retired number on it. That's $30. You want to get the mega puck. Same thing, just bigger. That's $50. You want the t-shirt that's got the little Chara 33 here and then a picture of Zdeno Chara. A short sleeve t-shirt. That's $65. So you know what? You don't think it's appropriate for fans to boo the owners and the president and the GM? I say, man, that's what this country was born out of. A revolution in this country started right here in this damn city, and it's because we weren't being heard. So is the moment of like January 15th unfair on Don Sweeney? Maybe, because I think he's doing well right now. But we have not been heard, and that was a chance for us to get heard, to be heard, and let Don Sweeney know how we felt about that. Let the Jacobs family know that we're not taking this crap anymore. And that if we're going to rebuild, fine, let's do it. I don't think that's unfair. I really don't. As evidenced by the fact that I partook in it. I don't think it's unfair at all. I really don't. And I don't think it sullied a great night. I don't think it, this was not Chris Mullin and his number retirement, going after the fans for them booing the Warriors owner, GM, whoever it was back then. I don't even remember. It wasn't that. He moved on. They cheered for everything. Thank you, Chara chants raining down. It was a real great atmosphere. And everyone was lubed up by the time the game started. And the Bruins scored 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. And the place was going bonkers. The Bruins actually didn't play all that well in the game, but won. And I fell one leg short of winning my parlay of dreams for $200. But that's beside the point. So I did think that was funny. Like that is Boston. And again, you want to feel bad for Don Sweeney? Like, look at how he treats the media. Let's start there. Because I think you learn a lot about a person. And it was the same thing with Bill Belichick, right? Everyone kind of brushed it off and thought it was cutesy and fun because he won a lot. And that's who he was. And he was this old curmudgeon and whatever. I was never a big fan of it, to be honest with you. I love Bill Belichick. But I was never a huge fan of the way he treated the media. I thought he treated them like dogs, subhuman. And Don Sweeney does the same thing. Cam Neely does the same thing. And I really think that sucks. I really do, because in this city where hockey is a huge deal, we talked about this with Dakota from Braintree yesterday. Like, hockey is a big deal in this city, but in terms of the coverage and the narratives and the talk, it's never going to be number one. It's never going to be number two. Right? And so, like, the media members that cover the Bruins day in, day out, they are doing, for lack of a better term, not to pump their tires too much, like they're doing a service for the Bruins fans. And they're not going to, most of them are not going to allow, the Bruins to pull the wool over our eyes like they try to do so often. And last year, at the end of the season press conference, I believe they did that. They tried to hold the Bruins' feet to the fire, Cam Neely's and Don Sweeney's, and like they do every time, like they did in the post-trade deadline presser, like they did with the Charlie McAvoy Team USA thing, they will come back at you. They will argue with you to pillar and post. As a member of the media, you ask them a question. It happened like. It's not a guy I'm like a huge fan of, but like Kevin Paul DuPont has been covering the Bruins for 40 years here, 50 years almost. And he's asking pretty reasonable questions about the Bruins draft track record in the last 10 years as they were about to pick in the top 10. And Cam Neely and Don Sweeney are firing back at him like he doesn't know anything. Like just being dickheads to him and the rest of the media that's there. So, you know what? When I remember back to that, which was less than a year ago, I don't feel bad about getting some boos around TD Garden. I really don't. And again, I wish I could go to more Bruins games, but it's an arm and a leg and a second leg and half your brain to get there. And then when you get there and you pay that money, you're entitled to some things. You can't throw beers at the players. You shouldn't be getting in fights in the stands. Like, nothing should cross over between the players and the fans. But when the GM's name gets announced, you're allowed to boo. You are allowed to do that. Because I'm sure the people that were saying, oh, this was childish in the wrong time, they're probably the same ones saying, oh, well, that's not the right time or place to throw the tea into the harbor. My 2 cents on it. But I want to take a minute for Zdeno Chara himself, because that's who the night was about. And I saw a great tweet afterwards about Zdeno Chara being one of the most underappreciated athletes in the history of Boston sports. And one of my friends who came with me last night is a moderate Bruins fan. He's a big fan of the other 3 teams in Boston, moderate Bruins fan. And so he said, I remember Chara playing. I remember it well, watched him, won the cup, all that. But, can you give me a comparison to someone else in Boston sports lore? And the only other one I could think of was Kevin Garnett, who comes to Boston as a trade. Zdeno was a free agent, but not drafted by them, not this wunderkind discovered by them. Comes in, already is an established player, and changes the fortune of the franchise from day one. As soon as Garnett is holding up the number 5 Celtics jersey, the Celtics become championship contenders day one. And he came in and he set a new standard. He set a culture, and he held everyone to a higher standard. He was intense. At times, he was an absolute dick, and it brought up everyone's game. And no one, and I mean no one, wanted to mess with Kevin Garnett. All of those things apply to Zdeno Chara. There's a team, a proud franchise like the Celtics were, that were searching for an identity. And they bring in Chara, and bam, right away they have an identity. They have an intensity, they have a passion, they have an oomph, they have a physicality from day one, like the Celtics did. And all of a sudden, you had to respect this Bruins team a bit more. And it didn't happen year one like it did with Garnett, that they instantly became championship contenders, but 2 years later, they were championship contenders. And it led to one of the most fruitful eras of Bruins hockey history. Zdeno Chara started that, and in some ways ended that by walking. It's not his fault. But that's the comparison I have. And it comes at a time where the Red Sox have done something that they've never done, that for anyone living, to see them win multiple World Series, become kind of a dynasty. The Patriots are in the middle of the greatest dynasty in the history of pro sports, and they're the most covered team of any team ever. So it's not like you really have to muscle your way in there if you're the Bruins and you want some respect. And Zdeno Chara did that. And yes, Bergeron and Krejci and Tim Thomas and Lucic and all these guys absolutely were huge parts of it too. And they'll get their days. At least Bergeron and Marchand and those guys. Krejci probably. But Zdeno Chara is the one who changed it right away. And he was an incredible leader and captain. And honestly, for someone who grew up here, he was a great, great ambassador for the community. Did all kinds of charity work, never said no. Everyone will tell you, everyone who worked with him, everyone who covered him, the nicest guy. For being the most intimidating guy on the ice, he was the nicest guy in the locker room and in the community and beyond. Has done so much for this city, for this state, this region. He still lives here, which is a massive deal. He's from Trenčín, Slovakia, and he still lives in the North End. And he's raised his kids here, his family. He talked about how much that meant to him being a Bostonian. That's what the F I'm talking about, man. Is he Tom Brady? No. Is he David Ortiz? Not quite. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got NHL records. He was the guy, the face of the Boston Bruins for almost 15 years, man. As your captain for every single game. That means something in this town. And Zdeno Chara means a lot in this town. And it was fitting that we saw his number 33 go up in the rafters, man. It was a good emotional night. I can't wait for the other ones. I can't wait for Bergeron, Marchand, Pastrnak, maybe Rask, maybe down the line. It was really tremendous stuff. So anyway, I wanted to take a minute for Patrice Bergeron, or excuse me. I mean, I'd love to take several minutes for Patrice Bergeron. Had to take a minute for Zdeno Chara and that controversy. But we've got to talk about the Patriots. And real quick, before we get to break, like a minute here, the forecast is looking good. The snow apparently is coming to Foxborough on Sunday. It sucks for all those of you who are going to have to drive home afterwards. Me, I'll have to. But that snow is coming. And I say bring it on. I love it. I want them to be playing in a snow globe this weekend. I don't know who it really gives the advantage to, because it's not like Drake Maye's played in the snow a bunch. But it certainly can't help the Dome team more than it helps the Patriots. So I'm in on that. Let's talk about Drake Maye. Let's talk about the Patriots, because one of the great broadcasters of all time just compared Drake Maye to a Hall of Famer. We'll tell you why he did that and how he sees it. Coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Welcome back, Wicked Boston Show here on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. We are here live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show. In a few minutes, we're going to do the three keys to the game, Patriots and Texans, and how the Patriots advanced to the AFC Championship for the first time in 7 years, man. They used to literally happen every year. From the time I was in, this is crazy, man. From the time I was in 9th grade, so starting high school, till the year I graduated college, they went to the AFC Championship every single year, man. It's time to get back to that. I'm losing hair. I'm paying taxes. It's a long time since college at this point. All right. It is time to get back to the AFC Championship game. And we'll do that in just a minute. But obviously, a lot of those keys are going to revolve around Drake Maye. Drake Maye has been turning heads all season long, not just here in New England, but everywhere. Everyone knows about Drake Maye at this point. And that includes Joe Buck, who is one of the very best in the game. I know some people still hate him for some reason. Still one of the best in the game. He's doing the Patriots game this Sunday because it's on ESPN, ABC for some reason. I guess they do that now in the divisional. But he will be calling the game with Troy Aikman. Unbelievable broadcast team. And he was on Phil Perry's podcast this week, and he was talking about Drake Maye, and he gives a very interesting comparison for Drake Maye. And you just got to hear it.
Drake Maye, who's 23 years old and just phenomenal. And when he was on our production call, he hung up, and I was like, it's a video call. I'm like, something about him reminds me of Manning. I don't know what it is. Maybe the Southern accent and just his demeanor to be a 23-year-old just kind of blew me away. But he's going to have his hands full against this defense.
He does mean Peyton Manning, by the way, not Arch, not Cooper, not any of those guys. He does mean Peyton Manning. And he's not necessarily talking about the stats or the play style, because obviously the play style is much different. We'll get into what he's talking about in a minute here, but it did kind of pique my interest. Like, I did want to see what are the first two seasons like, because team-wise, they're pretty similar, right? The Colts the first year with Manning were 3-13, and the second year they were 13-3. The Patriots were 4-13 in year one, in which Drake Maye did not start all the games like Peyton Manning did. And then in year two, they were 14-3. So I'm like, okay, maybe there is some similarities here. I'd love to look at their first two seasons in the league. Like, Peyton Manning, in my opinion, in my book, is the second or third best quarterback ever. And, maybe you want to throw in Mahomes and bump him to somewhere like 3 or 4. He's in that discussion. He's on the Mount Rushmore of all-time quarterbacks. No question about it. And that's a guy who grew up hating Peyton Manning, growing up against him or rooting against him every time he played. But this is intriguing to me, how close this is. Look at this head by head, the first two seasons in the league. So Peyton has a couple more games. So he's got some of the counting stats on him, like yards, but he also has yards per game on him. He has touchdowns. Look at that one right below touchdowns. Because Drake Maye, especially last year, was playing fast and loose with the football. And we've been, at times, pretty irked by it, especially with these big games of, like, know when you're dead, go down, like, don't play fast and loose with this thing. In the first two seasons, Drake Maye's thrown 18 picks in 30 games. In the first 32 games of Peyton Manning's career, he threw 43 interceptions. 43. And that's for a guy who later on became one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. By the way. And then you go by, obviously the rushing numbers are going to be Drake's, right? But, like, the percentage numbers are split pretty evenly. And who's winning? And you see that completion percentage, again, Peyton Manning, as we know, goes on to be one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. But 10% better in completion percentage for Drake Maye through two seasons. Like, that's not nothing, man. That's not nothing. They both made a Pro Bowl in their first season. Or excuse me, Peyton made for the second season. They both made All-Pro in their second season. Is there something to this? Is there something to this comparison? Obviously, there's plenty more football to be played in Drake Maye's career. We've seen guys have good first years, good first and second years. Look at the quarterback on the other side of this week's matchup. I mean, we've been shitting on CJ Stroud all week. He had a dynamite rookie year. He looked like one of the next ones for sure. So I find this fascinating. But it's not about the stats. Phil Perry kind of tries to bring it back to that in his podcast. Like, hey, it's not about the stats, right? Like, that's not where you're comparing him for. And Joe Buck says what he is comparing him for.
I think it's a maturity. I think it's a maturity at a young age. And obviously they both come from incredible sports families. Peyton with his younger brother, Eli, who will likely end up in the Hall of Fame, and his dad, Archie Manning, and everything that family has brought to the National Football League. And then you've got Drake Maye with his brothers and his dad, and there's just something about him. Obviously, yeah, it's not the on-field play style, but there's a maturity there at 23 years old that you just hang up and you go, man, that young man's different.
And this is Joe Buck saying it, and that's a guy who talks to NFL quarterbacks every week for the last 20 years. But it's not just him that's saying that. That's something we have heard constantly from coaches, from analysts, from media members, from, draft experts. That's what everyone says. The maturity. He's not just boring, when you hear him in the press conference. He's just mature. He knows what's happening. And having an older brother who plays for a national championship as a basketball player at North Carolina, that's a good kind of foray into this thing. That's a pressure-packed situation, being a starter for Carolina and a national championship Final Four team. Made 2 Final Fours, Luke Maye did. So he kind of had the answers to the test in that sense ahead of time. How to handle media, how to handle pressure, how to internalize things, what to internalize, what to focus on, how to keep the main thing. And, this might be a struggle this week with the Texans, but this is a moment when I heard this from Joe Buck, it was just a moment to sit back and say, you know what? Yeah, dude, we have got something really good here. We've got something really freaking good. And you think of the great quarterbacks who their team then kind of gets the next guy. Happened in San Francisco. Joe Montana to Steve Young and Gio Carmazzi, Jeff Garcia. No, but Montana to Young, right? Green Bay is the great example. Favre, Rodgers, Love, nothing in between. And here, what people are thinking nationally, they're not remembering Mac Jones or Cam Newton or Bailey Zappi. They're thinking Brady to May in pretty short order, within 5 years. That is not a long time in the grand scheme of things. And then you think of the ones who just never got it again. Look at the Dolphins quarterbacks after Marino. Tua's the best one. And he's a middle-of-the-road NFL quarterback with nothing to really show for it in terms of accolades or competing for championships, let alone championships. Or, take your pick. Cleveland hasn't had one since Bernie Kosar. What am I saying? Vinny Testaverde. Miami quarterbacks, man. We did so much Miami stuff on the Pete Souza show this week. I heard both those names a lot. Sorry. Since Bernie Kosar, man, they've been looking for a quarterback. Detroit or Chicago, man. They never had a quarterback before Caleb Williams that was of the top tier NFL ilk. So we're pretty lucky here. We're pretty lucky. And I think that's why the future of this Patriots team, more so than the present, is so damn exciting. Because it's another reminder that I think they should win this week and play for the AFC Championship, potentially a home game in the AFC Championship if they win. But they are so far from the finished product, man. So far from it. And it's just another reminder from Joe Buck, who's seen a lot of football and talked with everyone in the game, to say not that he reminds me of Tua Tagovailoa. He doesn't remind me of Cam Newton. He doesn't remind me of, whatever your kind of good quarterback. He doesn't remind me of Joe Flacco. He reminds me of Peyton Manning. A guy who played in 4 Super Bowls, won a couple of them, Hall of Famer, first ballot. I'll take that comparison any day of the week. I will. And I'll tell you something that Drake is not doing that Peyton did do the first couple years of his career. Actually, pretty much until he won that Super Bowl. Peyton threw his teammates under the bus a lot. A lot, man. He kind of left some guys out to dry when they'd have those early playoff exits. Drake Maye has not done that. He also hasn't had a playoff exit yet, but he does not do that. Even when he's had opportunities to, with this offensive line and the way they played last week, he's not going to do that. So I love that comparison. Who does Drake Maye remind you of? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It is right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We're going to take a look at what we got coming up next, because that is the key to this show, and that is the 3 keys to the game. It's coming up in just a minute here, but before I get there, I do want to take an opportunity to think of how awesome this could be this weekend, right? Potential for snow coming down, great defense, awesome test for Drake Maye. This is going to be really fun. So how are the Patriots going to win? We will give you the long-awaited 3 keys to the game after this short break on the Wicked Boston Show.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Welcome back, Wicked Boston Show here on Rogue Media Sports Network. We're live on YouTube as we are every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I mean, the time is coming, man. We are counting down. We were counting down the days. At this point, we're counting down the hours, right? We're getting the weekend kicked off tonight. We're that much closer to Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time for Patriots Texans. And I tell you, the more I look into this matchup, the more this fascinates me. I will say, looking deeper into the numbers, I'm more confident in the Patriots than I was a couple of days ago. But this matchup to me is absolutely fascinating. And it's an unbelievable test for Drake Maye. And we have received word, I have received word, that just moments ago, simultaneous with this on the Rogue Media Sports Network, the great Scott Mitchell, Utah, longtime NFL quarterback, has his own show on Rogue Media Sports Network. That's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Am I right in that, Zach? That's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. He has picked the Patriots to win. So I'm loving that. I am loving that. I'm going to see if we can maybe, because Zach is kind of pulling double duty right now. Maybe if we can get him for a minute at the end of the show. Like, I know he doesn't have the setup going, but I just might want to get him in for one segment. So, or one quick at right at the end. So be on the lookout for that. But without any further ado, we've got to get into what this episode is all about. And that is the 3 keys to the game for the Patriots to beat the Texans and advance to the AFC Championship game. Get your cliches ready. Here are the 3 keys for the Patriots to win this Sunday. The first one is this. Drake Maye, cut it loose, kid. What? What do you mean cut it loose? He's going up against probably the best defense he's ever faced in his life. There's a bunch of dudes, a bunch of maulers out there looking to take his head off. And you're out here saying, like Drew Bledsoe to Tom Brady before the final drive of Super Bowl 36, F that, go out there and sling it. That's exactly what I'm saying. I hope he protects the ball, which is what Charlie Weiss was telling Tom Brady before that drive, before Drew stepped in. But yeah, I'm telling him to sling it a little bit. Because look, this Texans defense, this Texans defense is great. It's scary good, man. Like, that's what I'm so worried about. But how about this for discrepancy? In throws of less than 20 yards, the Texans defense is first in EPA per play. Not moving, not scoring on them with that. But of passes of more than 20 air yards, they are 18th in EPA per play. They are tied for 16th in explosive play rate allowed. Drake Maye is the best quarterback in the NFL, throwing 20-plus yards. He's that good. He's got a cannon of an arm, and it's super accurate. I go back to his first touchdown pass in the NFL against the Houston Texans. Right up the sideline, one-on-one, Derek Stingley Jr., one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the league, against Kayshon Boutte, 6th-round pick, and it's a perfect ball for about a 40-yard touchdown. And Kayshon Boutte this week is being misquoted in Houston, but they asked him, where does this rank as like one of the toughest defenses to prepare for? And he says, it's not that tough to prepare for because they do the same thing. They're just really good at it. Being easy to prepare for doesn't mean being easy to beat, And he said, we're going to see a lot of man coverage, which is true. You're seeing a lot of that old Belichick man match coverage where it's looking like zone in the middle of the field, man on the outside. When you got guys like Stingley, you can do that, right? You can absolutely do that. But Kayshon Boutte has done this before. I'm not saying he's going to go off and get 4 touchdowns in this game, but those plays are going to be there. And when you look at how dominant the pass rush is for the Houston Texans, what that tells me is there's going to be some 3rd down and longs for the Patriots where they just got to take a shot. And that's where the Texans defense gets not even a little bit less effective, but a lot less effective. And Drake is awesome against zone defenses. He is. And like Chargers zone is pretty dang good. Houston zone is great. But he's also pretty good against man because he's got a rocket and he can fit a ball in there. And so you just say one-on-one, you got to beat your man. Drake Maye will get the ball to you. So amazingly, what I'm saying is key number 1 is let it fly, kid. Let it fly. I would say he gets into more trouble when he's trying to extend the play and tip balls over the middle than he is chucking it down the field. So I will reiterate what Drew Bledsoe said to Tom Brady as the legend of Tom Brady was born. F that. Go out there and sling it. It could come down to 1 or 2 big plays in this game. It really might. More so than most games. That's where Drake Maye can be his most effective. That is key number 1. Key number 2. And this is where the cliches really ramp up. Key number 2 in this game is 3rd down. And specifically with the Texans on offense. This is going to be a game, again, rock fight, field position, all that great stuff that Bill Belichick loved for all these years. That's what this game is going to come down to. And there's been a lot made about the Texans offense. Is it good? No. Is it quite as bad as what we saw against the Steelers? Also, no. And I found this really fascinating as I looked throughout the week. So we saw it on Monday night, and it was a disaster. And CJ Stroud throws a pick. He puts the ball on the ground 5 times. He loses a couple of those fumbles. And you think, my God, this guy can't hold on to the football. He's a turnover machine. And that's actually not the case. The Texans have not been a great or very efficient offense all year, but they're not a turnover machine. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. And I don't know if this makes you feel any better as a Texans fan, but they barely turned the ball over at all. They were 30th in the league this year in turnovers. So 3rd to last in terms of the number, like third fewest turnovers in the league. That's the way to put it. They had 10 games this year where they didn't turn the ball over at all. 10 games. Maybe Pittsburgh is good at forcing those because in September, they forced 5 against the Patriots and they forced 3 against the Texans on Monday night. That's not something the Texans do. Overall, it's not really something the Patriots do either, but we know Drake can have some of those games where he's doing too much. Happens every once in a while. Hopefully it was out of the way against LA because that was kind of the thing. But third down is what gets important here because the Patriots can be elite on third down defensively. They're top 10 in the league throughout the whole year in third down conversion rate, against. The Texans go into third and long a lot. Like second longest average third down distance in the league a lot. Okay. They are quite often in third and long, not very manageable situations. And CJ Stroud isn't going to put on the Superman cape and get them there. That's why, folks, they were 23rd in the league in third down conversions this year. Like they are 3-and-out machines offensively and defensively, which is kind of funny. 23rd in the league in third down conversion rate. The Patriots faced the number 3 team in the league in third down conversion rate last week. And they held them to 1 for 10. And I'd argue LA has a better quarterback. Although Herbert in the playoffs, maron. Maybe CJ Stroud is better than that. And the other thing, too, is we talked all week about LA's battered offensive line, right? They stunk because their guys are hurt. Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, they've been out the whole year. You've been playing with backups the whole year. Mekhi Becton is an absolute disaster. He plays guard, but he's an absolute disaster. That offensive line was dreadful. The Texans' offensive line is not much better. It's not quite that bad. I'll give them that. But it's not their strong suit by any stretch. So I don't know if you can bring the same kind of pressure that you did last week. Even with Nico Collins out, I don't know that that's necessarily the game plan, but you can get after these guys on the offensive line. You can win in the trenches, which, at least on that side of the ball, which almost exclusively is the thing that wins playoff games, and you can get them off the field pretty quickly. And that might be a saving grace against this Texans defense. Short fields, forcing turnovers would be one, but getting them off the field quickly and trying to tire out a pass rush that's going to be coming every play, that's probably number 2. So third down is the number 2 key to the game. The third and final key to the game, and there's a couple of different facets that I go with this one, but it's going to come down to the quarterback once again, because the third one I've got is Drake Maye, scrambled eggs. These guys can get after the passer better than anyone in the league. But what they're not great against is mobile running quarterbacks. And that is due in part to how the Texans' defensive philosophy. Talked about it earlier this week. Christian Fourier was saying how, they don't scheme you up defensively, the Texans. They have one front, they have one coverage. And what they do is say, try and beat us. And most teams can't, right? They're not going with scheme, X's and O's, so much as they're going the Jimmies and Joes. Like, yeah, we don't need another coverage when we have, or another front when we have Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. We don't need another coverage when we have Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie. We're going to line it up. We're going to rush for, try and beat us. And I know they got some dudes. That's why, they've been so tough this season. But what about Josh McDaniels? That's a guy who's one of the best offensive scheme guys in the world, in the NFL. He's done it for years. We've seen him do it all the time. He used to victimize Pittsburgh for the same thing year after year after year after year. Pittsburgh would not change their defense at all. And it helped having Tom Brady, but they kicked the crap out of Pittsburgh year after year after year. I don't think they're going to kick the crap out of the Texans necessarily, but I do trust Josh McDaniels to put together a game plan against a defense that doesn't switch things up. And one of the very most important parts of this is Drake Maye using his legs. The scrambling ability of Drake Maye could be the difference in this game. When you line up 4 pass rushers, 4-man front every time, automatically there's going to be 2 holes to run through every time. That's just football. The quarterback can run through them any play. Maye was your leading rusher last week, 66 yards, and knows when to take off at this point. Maybe doesn't know when to hold on to the ball sometimes, but he does know when it's a good time to take off. And it got them an extra 3 points in the game last week, right before the half with his 30-something yard scramble. Got them 3 extra points in that game. And he's probably the best running quarterback the Texans have faced all season. And beyond that, he's not just an effective runner, but he's a really effective passer on the run, like better than almost anybody in the league. So what I think you're going to see here is some designed rollouts, some bootleg keepers, some quick hitters with the rollouts. You're going to see a bunch of different options on these rollout plays. Drake is obviously stronger throwing when he's moving to his right, but he's also can sling it in there when he's moving to his left as well. That's how you neutralize a pass rush and get to open field against the Texans. That's it right there. And that's all part of, moving the pocket. That's what the football guys call it, moving the pocket. That's where you get explosive plays against the Texans. And more than just quarterback run and quarterback rollout, what is part of the moving the pocket are the screen passes, right? You could do rollout screens. You could do kind of shuffle pass screens when it's 3rd and long, which the Patriots will have some 3rd and longs in this game. And that could be humongous in this matchup. The Texans rank 30th in EPA on screen passes. It's kind of funny. Like that's like the one thing that they're really not good at is defending a screen pass. They're just bad enough to be mediocre against explosive plays. Everything else, they're great, but screen passes, they're really susceptible. And you've got Travion Henderson, who's been a pretty effective pass catching back, who is lethal when he gets in space. And your last few weeks, your best runner and your best receiver has been Ramondre Stevenson, who had one of the biggest plays of the game on Sunday against the Chargers on a screen pass from about his own 5-yard line and went out to midfield. Those guys can really cook in those situations. 3rd and long is not a place you want to be in, but 3rd and long could open some windows for the Patriots in terms of these explosive plays down the field and these screen passes that turn into explosive plays. And what's kind of implied in all of that is you can't be fumbling the ball, Drake. Like this week has to be emphasis on knowing when you're dead. Just you can take a sack because we can run a screen on the next play. We could do a rollout. We can throw it deep and give you a shot to beat man coverage. But you cannot fumble the ball. The way that you're going to let this Texans offense into the game is on short fields. So that said, I feel better about this game than I did earlier in the week. I didn't like seeing Houston beat up on Pittsburgh, man. I didn't like it at all. But if the Patriots can stick to those things and exploit a very, very good Texans defense with some of the few things that they're vulnerable to and get off the field on 3rd down, they're going to win this game. And they're going to play in the AFC Championship. And we could know by the time we kick off, by the time we leave for the game Sunday, if they have another home game. If they win, obviously. But like Buffalo is a real shot at beating Denver on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to be glued to that. But if the Patriots stick to this thing, they should win somewhat comfortably. Comfortably in this game is not 20 points. It's like 10 points. So those are the 3 things to look out for. Let me know what your keys are to this game in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Know that we come at you every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show. All right. We got a couple minutes left. Let's bring him on here. The great Zach Burke from behind the glass in the open spot. Zach, I have saved you to the last 5 minutes of the week.
Mm-hmm.
My fearless producer, Zach, big Texans fan.
I am.
He's one of the guys that I was saying, last month, boy, I really don't want to face the Texans. He was one of the guys being like, you sure? You sure about that?
Let me, if I may, though.
Go ahead, man.
I know
Go
that
ahead,
it does come
dude.
across as
You know
this.
this
And I know,
team.
obviously, we're a Boston sports show, and I will give – I'm not feeling great about the game on Sunday, but I will say that this is a team – this is a defense that is top-notch and one of the best, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a fan, but maybe one of the best defenses I've ever watched in my time of being an NFL fan.
Looking at that Pittsburgh game.
That I think I saw a stat that out of all the wild card teams,
that and I was like,
the Texans were still fourth highest in pressure despite never blitzing.
That's the freaky part. I talked about this earlier in the week.
I can't hear you for a sec. Hold on, that's me. It's my headphones. Okay.
That is, and I'll just start talking then. That is what is fascinating me more than pretty much anything about the Texans is they don't blitz. They don't need to blitz. Like they just rush four and they get after the quarterback better than anybody. And this is like a aggressively mediocre offensive line for the Patriots, especially after last week. So that's the scariest part.
That is. And I'll just add one more positive before I get into the negative things. Also, the Texans have now tied the Cardinals with most playoff wins for the same amount of playoff wins after beating the Steelers on Monday night, which means now that the youngest NFL franchise now has the same amount of playoff wins as the oldest NFL franchise. So
I was going to say the Cardinals are an original, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. 1898. So that was the positive.
1898. Is that real?
That's when I looked it up to see. Yeah.
So
I know they were playing football. Yeah.
They're an original NFL, right? I think they were still in St. Louis.
I think you're right.
Chicago.
All that being said,
Chicago to St. Louis? Yeah.
Chicago to
anyway.
Yeah.
I think it was Chicago to St. Louis to Arizona.
The things that worried me is watching that Patriots game and seeing the amount of pressure that they were still able to get on almost called them San Diego with all this on LA.
Man.
With just three men. Yeah, with just 3 men down front. The Texans line is a little bit better than San Diego's, but just a little bit. Like that's the thing. So I expect CJ to constantly kind of be, having to deal with the pressure from the New England line. And he does not do well usually having to deal with the blitz. So if you get him pressured and make him run, those 5 fumbles last week, I don't think we're going to get that many, but like he does get shooken a little bit. And I get that. He's still, year 3 of a quarterback. But the stat that I found is that since his first playoff game, the stat line has kind of gone downhill after every 5 since then. I think he has 1 touchdown pass in those. Or, I'm sorry, he had 3 the first one and then 1 touchdown pass since then. A couple interceptions, a lot of fumbles. I think that pressure gets to him sometimes. For me, this is going to be a game where the defense keeps them in it the whole time. The news that I saw earlier today, Nico Collins did not practice, which if he didn't practice, there's a good chance he's not clearing concussion protocols.
Yeah.
So that is a guy, and I do not care what all my other fellow Texans fans say, is going to be a big miss not having him on Sunday, because a lot of the Texans offense ran through Nico Collins. So now you're going to have to hope for Christian Kirk to have a legacy game 2.0.
Again, back-to-back weeks.
You're going to have to hope for your rookie, Woody Marks, who had like one of his highest, outputs
maybe his
in
best
his career
game
to do it again.
Yep.
And you're going to have to ask, Nick Chubb, who was always a thorn in the Steelers side, but he's dealing with knee injuries and stuff too. You're going to have to ask him to step up. Dalton Schultz, like everybody else, is going to have to play on a whole nother level to get past a team that you've never beaten the playoffs. You're 0-2 against the Patriots. You're 0-6 against the division. So
damn,
a lot has to go towards you. And I know I've always been a doom and gloom guy, which kind of just adds to this of hair. I'm picking it apart. But if Nico Collins is available, I personally feel better about this game just because I'm like, all right, Nico can go up and get some of those balls. Like, it gives CJ a little bit of a safety blanket. Without him, I'm a lot more nervous. I'm not worried about the defense. The defense, I do believe, is going to get to Drake Maye and is going to cause problems and pressure, but I just don't think the Texans offense is good enough to keep up with it there. And so I think that I might have it a little bit closer, but like a 16-10 Patriots win or 17-10, that seems very much in line with me.
That's about where I'm at, man. Like I think 16-10 is about where I'm at. Two touchdowns in the game. That's unbelievable.
No, Fairbairn will score the majority of the Texans'
Two
points,
field
probably.
goals and 2 safeties potentially.
Maybe.
You get to 10. I mean, it could happen. Yeah, I think that's what we're dealing with here. Like real rock fight. It could be one of these teams feels comfortable at the end of the game at a 16-10, a 16-6 kind of thing. But yeah, it's probably the best chance the Texans have had to beat the Patriots in the playoffs because there's no Brady on the other side. But I am some of these Texans friends that I've talked about who were mum on this subject. The longer the week has gone on, the better they felt. And I think it's cautious optimism, but like they have a unit that can compete with any, like that defense can keep them in any game against anybody in any given week. It might not happen, but it could. Like
for sure.
It should,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a meme that I always send to Mike and you when we watch that I do always feel is kind of about this team of where it's like, oh, I'm so excited to watch the game. And then the whole majority of it is, oh, F me, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're awful. And then the last little bit, oh, hey, look, we won. And just watching that game with how, like, that's just kind of sometimes being a Texans fan in general. But I did feel better as the week got on of like, oh, we might have a shot. This might be the year because, yeah, I remember the years of just the absolute ass kickings that they got in like AFC title games or divisional rounds from Tom Brady.
Divisionals.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Game.
Yeah, fine. So we always hoped, but hearing the Nico Collins news, it tempers that excitement a little bit. I will still root for them. I will still have hope that they can pull it off. But if I'm being realistic, yeah, I'm kind of with you.
Are you guys gonna get snow in Texas on Sunday?
No, maybe on February. It's just
I don't think so.
It's like the high 63 here. That is something else that does worry me. It's different playing in cold weather. Like everybody in the state at some point in time through their high school, college careers played in some cold weather. That's not the thing. The snow is a whole different beast to begin with. I mean, so I will be interested.
And I guess to be fair, it's not like you said it, like in high school when they go into November and early December, like you're getting some high 30s, low 40s. Like it's chilly, and obviously there's a bunch of wind in Texas. So we're not gonna. It doesn't look like we're gonna hit like the 20s.
Okay.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah,
however much of a difference
a little bit.
And look, like I said this too. Like I said this at the beginning. Like I'm rooting for snow. I want snow. I think you get a bit of a Patriots advantage when it comes to snow.
Mm-hmm.
But like Drake Maye's never played in snow. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't snow a lot in North Carolina.
No. He's from Charlotte. He played at UNC. Like he hasn't played in snow. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not like this great. Like Brady, a couple years in, he's played in a bunch. He grew up in the windiest area of the country, basically, in the Bay Area. So he knew how to like throw in weird conditions. May doesn't, I don't think, but this is gonna be fun in the most football guy way, Zach.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I will add just this last little thing because I think if it snows, then obviously it makes it more of a run heavy game potentially, since both quarterbacks. I know CJ played at Ohio State, but again, they don't necessarily play through a lot of snow. I can't remember one of the Michigan games he played, maybe a couple. But I just always view it as that kind of like forces the offense's hand. If it is more purely a running game, does that change anything for you?
I think maybe it doesn't like change anything. The Patriots are a better running team than Houston by all the numbers and the guys available. But obviously, like it's not. The Patriots have been really effective running off tackle, which is not going to be like then you're running at Will Anderson, you're running at Daniel Hunter. Which they're obviously known as pass rush guys, but they don't come off the field a lot. Like that means they're pretty good in run support too. So I guess the advantage is still with the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson versus Woody Marks and the ghost of Nick Chubb. But like, it to me, I think it could be completely clear on Sunday, and it will be about the same game. I do. Maybe that takes away some of the deep shots that I think the Patriots can get one or two against the Texans, and that literally might be the difference of the game. So maybe it takes that away, but I actually don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Just thought I'd ask. Yeah.
But I just think it's cool. So
it is.
And one last thing. So
are we going to
to
shit talk each other on Sunday? I don't do that really, so I'll probably.
I won't be able to text much. The service in.
Oh, you're going to be at the
yeah. So that's the next thing. So my fiance and I are going to the game on Sunday, and what I don't have, you know, my closet is like a gift shop, like it is.
Yeah.
And she knows that and is kind of irked by that. But what I don't have, which I used to have as a kid, and the rare occasion that I would go to a winter Patriots game, was like a big ass Patriot ski jacket.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can't help it. I'm a grown man, but it is that thing. When I go to a game, I want you to know I'm a big ass fan. Yesterday, I was at the Bruins. I was wearing a Bruins hat, Bruins sweatshirt with a Bruins jersey over it. So I want to be like that, but I don't have this jacket. I've been scouring Facebook Marketplace, and usually these things are like $100, $120. Starter, like 90s starter, big ass jackets is what I call them.
Yeah, the big. Yeah, I know which one.
One on Facebook Marketplace, $60. I can go and get it. And I don't know the next time I'm going to be going to a Patriots game in January or December, but I could. I live here now.
That's true.
I'm thinking about doing it. I'm picking up on Facebook Marketplace a second Patriots knit hat, winter hat tonight, because I only have one, and it was $10. And I was like, we should both be able to wear one to the game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Let's just say that. Like I have a great jacket that my future mother-in-law gave me for Christmas last year. It's a great, perfect jacket for cold weather. It's just black, nothing to it. And a lot of people will be wearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I do have a Patriots winter hat. So that will be my Patriots thing. And I'll layer up. I'll have Patriots sweatshirt, Patriots jersey underneath.
Yeah.
I just want you to know I'm thinking about it.
Okay. I will await the text later in the day to hear one way or another.
Like if she goes running errands for a couple hours tomorrow, that might be it. I might just get on the tee and go meet this person and pick up this jacket. And by the time she figures it out, we'll already be on the way to Foxborough.
Is that new?
Like, you don't need another jacket.
Oh,
you don't need another jacket. And as you know, I've pulled that fast one before.
Yes.
Remember with jerseys?
I do remember.
No, I've had this one. I just don't really wear it very much. I hope she can't. I think she left, but I hope.
Or the last time you got one in, I think she wasn't home when you got it in.
Yes.
Is that the same one? Okay. That might be a different one.
That was
anyway.
I got the Zadorov and Bork ones in the same week. No.
Okay.
What, you think she sports me like that? No way. No, I got the Zadorov and Bork Bruins jerseys in the same week, and it was just like, I'm just gonna wait to wear one of these. I'm just gonna wait like a month or two. She's probably seen both of them by now, but I don't think she. And the other thing is, like, a lot of them run together, so she's like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." Like the Zadorov white Bruins jersey. Like I got like 3 other white Bruins jerseys.
Yeah.
So that works to my advantage. But the jacket might be tough, as we've talked about it. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited, man. I am really excited. I know for a fact it's not going to be a 38-31 game. But it's going to be fun nonetheless. So Zach, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for giving your honest report on what you think is going to happen in this game. We'll obviously talk about it on Monday. If the Patriots lose, I'll be an absolute asshole, but I might give you a couple minutes to gloat if you want to.
I'm not a gloater.
You're not the gloating type, but I might just give you the runway if you want.
All right.
But
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that I'm going to have to listen to you be all excited. I've told people, I haven't told you this, that there's 2 versions of my favorite of Cam. And that is one when you're incredibly like upset, like we had earlier this week.
Red Sox,
the Red Sox.
Cam.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then there is
Bruins free agent Cam.
And then there is, we run this type Cam of where the Patriots are like, 10 in a row, 11 in a row. And it's like, we made the league like here. And
just
so
like
those 2
dunking on no one in particular.
Exactly. So I will get to see
anonymous commenters.
Yeah. I do expect to see one of my favorite versions of Cam then on Monday if y'all win, because then it'll be AFC title game. Well, I think it'll be different, and I keep dragging us on if it'll be Broncos or Bills, but
we'll be one of those.
I don't think anybody's afraid of the Broncos really.
I think this will be the layered jersey I have going in on Sunday.
I love it.
It's one of these Vapor Pro ones with the cuffs, sleeves, and everything.
Yeah,
Got a great deal on it in Max last year here. Like a terrific deal. He's go for like $350. I'm a jersey guy. I'm never doing that, right?
Yeah.
I got this like $100, and I got to figure out someone to like really do it. But I've had this for over a year now, and I think that might be the one I go with.
I like that. I like that.
So, Zach, thank you. Thank you to all tuning in. Leave your score predictions in the comments below. We'll obviously have a full recap on Monday. We will see you then on the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.